How to deal with burnout when motivation doesn't work and vacation doesn't help. You wake up and your first thought is, not this again. Coffee doesn't energize you, a shower doesn't refresh you, the commute to work feels like a march to hard labor. You open your email and physically feel nauseous from the number of messages. A colleague asks something simple and you want to scream, "Leave me alone!" In the evening, you collapse on the couch and can't even turn on a TV show. Too much effort. Your brain is switched off, your body feels like lead, and your only wish is for everything to disappear. Sound familiar? This isn't laziness. This isn't a bad day. This is burnout. And it won't go away on its own, no matter how much you pretend everything's fine. The most dangerous thing about burnout is the illusion that vacation will fix everything. A week at the beach, and you'll come back good as new. Spoiler, you won't. Burnout isn't cured by beaches. It's cured by systematic changes. Because burnout isn't just fatigue from work. It's the result of chronic mismatch between what you're doing and what you need. It's not just physical exhaustion, but emotional and spiritual as well. Good news, burnout is reversible, but not through motivational quotes or willpower. I'll show you 6 science-based strategies for recovering from burnout. These aren't quick hacks. This is deep restructuring. If you're ready for honesty with yourself, let's go. First, admit the problem is real. Don't play hero. You know who takes the longest to recover from burnout? Those who consider themselves too strong to break. I've got everything under control. Others have it worse. I'll manage, just need to hang in there. Congratulations, you just extended your burnout indefinitely. Burnout isn't weakness, it's a system signal. Your body is screaming, "Stop! You can't continue like this." And you're shutting it up, saying, "Be quiet, I need to work." It's like continuing to drive when the oil pressure light comes on. Can you drive another 50 kilometers? Yes. Will the engine recover after that? No. Here's the harsh truth. Acknowledging burnout isn't surrender. It's the first act of sanity after months of self-deception. You're not betraying your team if you say, "I need help." You're not a failure if you admit, "I'm on the edge." You're a person who finally decided to stop the destruction. Stop measuring your worth by the amount of pain you can endure. You don't have to suffer to prove your importance. Say it out loud, at least to yourself. I have burnout, and I need help. This isn't the end. This is the beginning of recovery. Second, set rigid boundaries or burn out completely. Here's what happens to people in burnout. They keep saying yes to everything because they're afraid of letting others down. Work on weekends? Yes. Extra project? Of course. Help a colleague? No problem. And at some point, you have zero time for yourself, zero energy for recovery, zero resources to stop and think, what am I even doing? Boundaries aren't selfishness. They're survival. When you're on a plane, they tell you, put the oxygen mask on yourself first, then on your child. Because if you suffocate, you won't save anyone. Burnout works the same way. If you keep giving without replenishing, sooner or later there'll be nothing left to give, and then you'll let everyone down. Start small. Workday ends at 6. Close your laptop exactly at 6. Don't read work email after that. Don't respond to messages and chats. Weekends are weekends, not days to finish urgent tasks. Say no to new projects if old ones aren't finished yet. And most importantly, you don't need to explain or justify your boundaries. No, I can't. I have other plans. That's enough. Even if those plans are just lying on the couch staring at the ceiling. Your recovery is as important as any work deadline. Actually, even higher. Third, regain control over small things, at least over breakfast. Burnout is often connected to a feeling of powerlessness. You don't control anything. Your boss dictates tasks, clients demand the impossible, circumstances press down on you. You're like a chip in the ocean, carried anywhere but where you want to go. And this feeling of helplessness eats you from inside worse than any fatigue. But here's the trick. Even when you don't control the big things, you can always control the little things. And regaining control of little things triggers recovery. This isn't a metaphor, it's neurobiology. When you make a choice and see the result, your brain gets a dose of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of motivation. And burnout is largely dopamine deficiency. Start with something absurdly simple. Decide what you'll eat for breakfast and make it. Not on autopilot, but consciously choosing. Choose what music to listen to on the way to work. Decide what clothes to wear today, not from the whatever's first category, but what you actually want to wear. Sound silly? Perfect. Because in burnout, you forget you even have desires. You function on autopilot, not noticing you've long stopped being the subject of your own life. Small control returns the feeling, I'm here. I make choices. My life is mine. Fourth, disconnect from digital noise. Literally. Here's what amplifies burnout exponentially. Constant availability. Phone notifications, work chats, email, social media, news. Your brain never rests for a second. Even when you're not physically working, you're psychologically on call. It's like never turning off your computer. Sooner or later, the system will freeze. Research shows people who turn off notifications and establish digital boundaries recover from burnout significantly faster because the brain needs silence, not background noise of messages, not constant pings, but real, deep silence. Try an experiment. 1 week with new rules. After 6 in the evening, phone in airplane mode. Work apps deleted from personal phone or blocked. No social media before bed or right after waking. The first hour after waking and the last before bed, that's your time, free from others' thoughts. It'll be uncomfortable. Anxiety will arise. What if something urgent happens? Here's the truth. Nothing so urgent it can't wait until morning exists in 95% of cases. And those 5% when something truly critical happens, people will find a way to reach you. But your mental health isn't worth being available 24/7 for non-urgent questions. Fifth, find what fills you, not empties you. Burnout happens when you constantly give but get nothing in return. Work drains energy, relationships require effort, obligations press down, and at some point you become empty, like a battery drained to zero and forgotten to recharge. Recovery requires not just rest, it requires filling. And here's the key question most avoid. What fills you? Not what should fill you according to society, not what fills other people. What fills you specifically? For some, it's drawing. For another, cooking. For a third, long walks in silence. For a fourth, dancing to loud music. Doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that after it, you feel a little more alive, not even more depleted. The problem is that in burnout, you forget what fills you, or think, no time for that. Here's the truth. If you don't have time for what fills you, soon you won't have resources for anything at all. This isn't luxury, this is necessity. Find at least 20 minutes a day for what brings you back to life. And if you honestly don't know what that is, experiment. Try different things. Knitting, running, playing an instrument, volunteering, gardening. Your task is to find what lights even a tiny spark, because from that spark, you can kindle a fire. Sixth, rethink success or suffocate in the race. Now the most painful part. Most people burn out not because they work a lot. They burn out because they work for someone else's goals. They chase a definition of success imposed on them. More money, higher position, cooler car, cooler status. And in this race, they lose themselves. Burnout is often a signal what you're doing doesn't match who you are. You can be successful by all external criteria, good salary, prestigious job, social approval, but inside, emptiness, because this isn't your success. It's someone else's that you're wearing like a heavy costume. Ask yourself an uncomfortable question. If no one knew about your achievements, would you still do what you're doing? If the answer is no, you're not living your own life, and burnout is your body's way of saying enough. Rethinking success doesn't mean dropping everything and moving to Bali. It means honestly answering yourself, what's important to me? Not to parents, not to society, not to Instagram, to me. Maybe success isn't career growth, but more time with family. Maybe it's not salary, but work that has meaning. Maybe it's simply peace, not constant racing. Burnout is often a permission to stop and ask, do I even need this? And sometimes the answer will be no, and that's okay. That's not failure, that's liberation. Summary: how to deal with burnout. First, admit the problem is real. Burnout isn't weakness, it's a signal. Heroism only makes it worse. Second, set rigid boundaries. Learn to say no. Your recovery is a priority. Third, regain control over small things. Choice in details triggers dopamine system recovery. Fourth, disconnect from digital noise. The brain needs silence, not constant availability. Fifth, find what fills you. 20 minutes a day for what brings you back to life. Necessity, not luxury. Sixth, rethink success. Burnout is a signal you're not living your own life. Ask yourself, is this mine? Important: if burnout is severe and lasts for months, seek professional help. A psychotherapist, psychologist, or doctor will help find an individual solution. This isn't giving up, this is self-care. Main point: burnout isn't the end, it's a reboot point, a chance to reconsider how you live and build a life that fills you, not empties you. You deserve to live, not just survive. Subscribe to learn more about real recovery without toxic productivity.